Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making a delicious instant pot roast with some healthy keto friendly veggies. We're going to be using radishes in place of potatoes because potatoes are high in carbs and we can't be having that. So I've just cut the bottom and tops off of those. Cut up an onion, and I didn't dice it. I like onion a lot, so I just cut it into chunks. Some carrots and some green beans. I just snapped them in half and took the tops off. They're fresh green beans too. And then cut up some red, yellow, and orange peppers and added in some cauliflower. Next we have some spices: paprika, savory, a little bit of onion powder, garlic salt, cayenne, and my favorite, black pepper. We're also going to be using butter and, of course, a roast. This is an Angus roast and it's organic, and I'm hoping local because I only try to eat good meat. So, and then vegetable broth. Try to get organic vegetable broth so you don't get as many pesticides in there too. So all right, my aunt sent me these really awesome salts that she made. This one here is fennel, and I want to show you guys what it looks like inside. It looks and smells so good, and so this is the one I'm going to be using today on the roast. And this one here is spearmint salt, which I imagine would actually be pretty darn good on fish. And then my favorite, lavender salt. So my grandma used to make everything with lavender, and one of my favorite memories of her was she would grow lavender and make homemade lavender lemonade. So anyways, here you go. Thanks, Bird, for sending these to me. I really appreciate it. You know I'm such a foodie, so thank you. Very thoughtful. So my stove is turned to medium-high heat, and I have my pan over here warming up on the stove, and I have added in some butter and put my roast in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to char all the sides and the ends of this roast, and that's going to help lock in and bring out a lot of flavor in the roast. I'm going to go ahead and grab my fennel salt seasoning, and I'm going to coat each side each time I do a side of the roast. And I'm also going to add in some pepper because pepper is life. So go ahead and let your mouth water. So guys, I wish you had smell-o-vision because this butter is starting to caramelize, in case you couldn't tell, and it smells so good. I'm trying to show you all angles of this. So I'm about to actually flip this roast, and I want you guys to see how great this looks on the edges here. So doing the ends of the roast is a little bit tricky. You can use your hands if you're feeling risky, or you can use tongs and try to hold it up. But now we're on side 3 of the roast, and don't forget to put your seasoning on each side, so it kind of melts into the roast as it's cooking too. This butter literally smells so good. I'm gonna actually not just grab the roast and stick it in the Instant Pot. I'm gonna also leave the buttery broth and put it in there as well, because a lot of the seasoning has also gone in there and caramelized with the butter. So it's going to be quite tasty, and you can just see how juicy this roast is here. So while this continues to cook, I'm just going to start up my Instant Pot over here. And at first I thought I was just going to do meat and stew, and then I decided to turn it down to slow cooker. And I'm going to set it for 2 hours and 30 minutes so that it does have a lot of time to sit in there and kind of marinate the rest of the veggies. We want all flavors to kind of mix together, but give each veggie and substance some time to stand out a bit, if you will. And then we're going to add in a full container of broth. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some layering. So we're going to do broth first so that it's nice and moist on the bottom. And we're going to add in some of my very favorite veggies. Of course, onions are so delicious. And this would probably also be really good to put some jalapenos in, but I didn't have jalapenos, but I'm sure that'd be great. So get a nice little layer of your veggies on the bottom, and don't forget your green beans or your radishes. And also, guys, this is so pretty. Look at all the colors mixed in. And really, I'm not kidding you. My friend from work told me about the radishes as substitute for potatoes, and it works wonders. So I'm gonna put the roast in with the caramelized butter and all and seasonings, and we're going to make this roast nice and cozy in here. So I've tucked it in, and I'm going to add in some broth, and that's gonna help to seal in some moisture and give the veggies something to kind of steam off of. And I really can't help but admire how delicious this looks. Alright guys, look how delicious this looks. I can't wait to try it. So I'm going to add in some more seasonings. So I have here my fennel salt from my aunt. And I'm going to add in some paprika and some cayenne and my favorite, black pepper. Black pepper tastes so good on almost anything besides, of course, sweet stuff, which I imagine may actually taste kind of good on some chocolate. So if you're feeling risky, then you know what to try. Then I added in some savory, and we're going to add garlic salt and garlic powder. And make sure it's nice and coated. Because once we add in some more of our veggies and stuff, it's going to soak into the veggies and the meat and be so delicious. Alright, and I'm going to spread a little bit out here, but I'm going to leave most of it on top of the roast because we are going to cover this, like I said, in veggies and add another special ingredient onto the top, and we want it to all melt together. I almost forgot to tell you guys, don't forget to add the most important ingredient, and that is, of course, love. So have you guys ever noticed food just tastes so much different when somebody else cooks it for you? You know, you'll sometimes try to copy a recipe and you're like, this isn't quite the same when I make it for myself. And that is because I truly believe when you do something with good intent and you do put some extra love and thoughtfulness into something, it does truly taste better. And put a little extra care and love into it. So I remember my grandma would make something as simple as peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and they would be the best peanut butter and jelly sandwiches I ever tried in my life. And I would go home and make it, and it just was not the same. So don't forget to put love into your recipes. So now I'm covering this with veggies like I said I would do, and we're gonna kind of cozy this in here with these, and it's gonna seal in the roast. And then we're gonna add a very special ingredient that will make this just taste so darn good. I'm making a little bit of an opening on the top here so that this special ingredient can really get in there and soak into the roast as well and keep it nice and tender. Yep, you guessed it, butter. That's right. So this is going to go ahead and soak into your roast and your veggies and keep it nice, tender, and delicious. Don't forget to season. Never skimp on seasoning. I personally think you can never have too much. I always add tons of seasoning, and it definitely pays off. So this is going to be in here for 2 hours and 30 minutes. And while we do that, I have my handy dandy Mrs. Meyer's Iowa Pine cleaning spray. And I do change out my cleaning sprays seasonally. Just because I think it does add a special touch to your home, and I just love to celebrate all the seasons. So this is also a really important part of cooking, is having a clean kitchen and just staying on top of it, because once you let it go, it just goes too far. So clean up your mess and enjoy those aromatherapy oils inside of those sprays. I love Mrs. Meyer's, so good. So now this has been cooking for 2 hours and 30 minutes, and then I let it rest for 17 minutes. The pin has dropped and there's no more air in here to get out, so let's open it and take a peek. Dun dun dun. This looks really, really great, but I'm gonna check the roast and see what we think about it. It smells so good, especially with these peppers and onions. So as I'm going through, I'm checking the veggies to see how tender they are. And I'm also gonna try to maneuver this roast and see. It is starting to fall apart, as you can see here in the corner, but it's a little bit pink still, and I don't usually enjoy pink meat, so I am most likely going to put this back in for a little bit longer, but just do it to whatever temperature you personally enjoy. So let's put this lid back on, and I'm going to turn this onto the meat setting. And originally I set this for a full hour, but then I took it out after 30 minutes. So you can actually see quite a difference. So it's still nice and tender because we slow cooked it before, but now you can see it's pretty much falling apart, which is amazing. And we're going to check our veggies as well and see how they're doing. So I'm dipping into some of this cauliflower, and it's just perfect. And the onions and the peppers, and look how delicious those radishes look. They literally look like little red potatoes, and they taste so good, soaking in all of the juices of the roast and the veggies and the broth and the seasonings. And I just can't wait to pour up a little bowl of this and enjoy myself some dinner. So I am doing 6 hours of an eating window, and so this is my main meal for the day. But I did shred this roast and put it into chunks and then put it back in. And I'm going to serve some of this up here. And I'm making sure to get lots of onions because, well, onions are life. But also onions are really good for your body. They actually purify your blood. So they're super good for you, but just make sure you don't eat onions plain if you love them as much as me, because it will hurt your stomach. But look how pretty this looks with all those colors. I just think this is such a pretty dish, you know, to serve your guests or to serve your family or serve yourself, because these colors are just so pretty. And imagine lighting some candles and sitting around the table and just enjoying yourself. I'm putting on some pepper because I love pepper, but I hope you guys truly enjoyed this video and that you guys will try something delicious like this at home. And please don't forget, subscribe to my channel, and I hope you guys have the most wonderful holiday season, and I'll see you later. Bye!